Hi everyone, meteorologist Matt Gray, weather alert day, Saturday night and through the day on Sunday. A very busy travel day because it's Sunday after Thanksgiving, and oh goodness, just at the right time, right? We end up with some very heavy mountain pass snow, particularly in the Cascades, heavy snow, gusty winds, all area mountain passes. Saturday through Sunday as a pretty strong cold front pushes through the inland northwest. So let's start off with the snow amount, and then we'll get into the timing a little bit. But we are looking at the very minimum, probably 8 inches across the Cascades passes going over to western Washington. And we are likely to see perhaps even as much as 2 feet of snow by the end of the day on Sunday on Stevens Pass. Either way, especially as the front passes in the morning, the Cascade passes, and driving through them is an absolute no-go. You don't want to deal with all of that. Try to wait until later in the day, if at all possible. Idaho passes are going to get some action as well. Not nearly as serious, but it is going to be a wintry drive from western Montana all the way across to Coeur-dalene. There is an outside shot that we could get as much as 10 inches by the time we get to Monday morning over Lookout Pass. But it does appear that at least in the Idaho mountains, this is going to be less significant of an event. But still, very busy travel day. A lot of people going over Lookout Pass. There is that high potential for it to be a real mess starting early on Sunday. Now, there is going to be some snow that does get down to the valleys. It likely will be a little bit of a wintry mix at times. And so we're not expecting much more than a dusting in many areas. Some spots with higher elevation, as you get above, say, 2,000 feet or so, we'll have a shot at about 2 to 4 inches. A lot of parts of northern Washington will be in a rain shadow and therefore aren't expecting to see much more than snow flurries. So here is the timeline here as we record this here Saturday night. This snow moves in largely behind the front, and you can see it starts very early at about anywhere between midnight and 3 a.m. Stevens and Snoqualmie passes really start to go downhill, those conditions there. Then as we are getting up in the morning, snow is actually a little bit better but in the Cascades, but there is still going to be snow bands that will set up throughout the day, and if they get over those passes, it's just going to be a total mess through the entirety of the forecast period there, the entirety of Sunday. Meanwhile, it is snowy as we start off around the passes of North Idaho, and we're even getting some of those snow down into the lower valley locations. This is 8 o'clock. This is 10 o'clock. You can see those snow bands already in the Cascades starting to get up here. We're actually going to end up with a fairly sunny day around much of the inland northwest. It's just going to be the areas that get snow. They're just going to keep on getting snow in those high elevations. It is going to be a very windy morning as well, so really just not ideal for travel all around. 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts across the eastern Washington flatlands, 40 mile an hour gusts in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, so not going to be all that fun there either. Would not be surprised if we did see a little bit of minor tree damage around the region. So as we go through your Sunday, hey, you know what? By the time we get to about lunchtime, I think the pressing issues for most of us will have passed, and then depending on the conditions of the passes at that time, then I would consider maybe getting a little bit of travel started in either direction. So here are your highs for Sunday. Not really looking too terribly warm, but it's going to feel warm compared to what we have coming up. Down to 9 degrees as we get into Tuesday morning, and then another significant snowstorm. Looks like it is on the way for the middle of the week. We may end up putting out another alert day for Wednesday because it does look like we get some pretty decent snow totals down in the valleys and around the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene metro, which of course will cause a huge travel mess. So we'll keep you updated on that part of the forecast. In the meantime, stay safe on Sunday if you do have travel plans, and we will keep you updated on everything else in the weather here on KXOY.com, the 4 News Now YouTube channel, and KXOY Plus. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.